East of England Showground, Peterborough, the venue once again for one of National League Speedway's most important occasions, the finals of the 4-team championship. Now, this was the event that last year gave us such marvellous action from both the semi-finals and the final. Victory going to Newcastle after a tremendous tussle with Mildenhall. Well, Mildenhall, 3 times runners-up in the championship. They're back again this year, but none of the 8 teams here have ever taken this 4-team title. Well, we've got 2 semi-finals and a final. Mildenhall go in the second semi-final, along with the other local team, Milton Keynes. But in the first semi-final, run over 8 heats, the local interest comes from Boston. They line up against the powerful Stoke side, as well as Berwick and Canterbury. And the important action now described by Dave Lanning.
Coming into Heat 3 of the first semi-final, we'll watch for the National League's individual champion, Steve McDermott. He'll be in the red helmet colour, representing Berwick. Can be a very, very speedy performer. Just way over there to the left of the pitch is Steve McDermott riding on the inside. Next to him in yellow and black, Jamie Luckers. There are 2 of them, Jamie and Jeremy. Grid 3 has Colin Cook on the outside. It is Paul Thorpe for Stoke, and away they go. The winner rang an old start, and up to the corner, just creeping away. It's Luckhurst. Luckhurst leads it, coming hard around the boards on the outside. It is Paul Thorpe, and the red light is on. The referee is Colin Thomas, not happy with the start. It did look a bit on the ragged side as they all bunch up. They haven't seen it. The riders in West, Thorpe and Cook, are not aware that the race has been stopped, and somebody should tell them. The bells are ringing, the red flag is out, and you're just wasting fuel, lads. It looked as though Steve McDermott, the individual champion on the inside in red, just may have touched the tapes, causing the race to be stopped. Let's watch it. Yes, there's the touch. And yes, he really ought to be excluded for that offence under the new regulations. And coming into his place in Heat 3, coming in replacing Steve McDermott, out, adjudged quite rightly to be tape charging. It is the Berwick reserve, David Walsh. Heat 3 of the first semi-final. The scores at this stage: Boston 6, Berwick 3, Stoke 2, Canterbury 1. So the Barracudas from up there at New Hammond Beck Road have won both the opening rides, and they have looked sharp, particularly sharp from the starts. Heat 3 for the second time of asking, with Boston now 3 points clear of the field. Coming into the red helmet colour, Berwick reserve David Walsh. He'll ride on the inside. Next to him in yellow and black, Jamie Luckhurst from Canterbury, with a fighting third first time out. Grid 3 has Colin Cook, formerly of course with Ipswich and Leicester in senior speedway, now has relinks with Boston, and he can really get it all together when he feels in the mood. On the outside, Paul Thorpe, another lively character from Stoke. He'll be in the white helmet colour. Here we go again for Heat 3. That is a clean break, and up to the corner. All standing on no ceremony at all. Cook has gone into the lead. Thorpe is coming around hard in the white helmet colour. Hits the fence, just clips it there. Did well to maintain contact. So it is Cook in front. Second place now, Walsh. Third place bursting through. Here comes Luckhurst for Canterbury. They're all beginning to bunch up, and this is good speedway. Still Colin Cook and Boston are looking very lively. Cyril Crane, their promoter, we've noticed, will be jumping around on the infield. Cook in front, now beginning to settle down. Walsh in second place. Luckhurst, who's had to do all his work from the back, and Cook rolled very wide there and lost some ground and must seemingly stay about a yard off the middle of the track. It's dangerous to drift out, although it does seem to be a fair amount of grip on this East of England showground track. We're into the last lap. Still Colin Cook in front, and Boston looking in the most purposeful mood. Cook will win it. Second place, Walsh. Good ride from the young reserve. Third place, Luckhurst. Just 2 heats to go of the first semi-final of the National Fours from Peterborough. Boston, thanks to their flying start, well in the lead with 13 points. They have a 5-point advantage over their nearest rivals, and it really is all hotting up for the other qualification place, because we've got Berwick and Stoke now on 8 points apiece, Canterbury on 7, and this is heat number 7. Boston already through, in fact, to the final. They really can't be caught, whatever happens here. Let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 7. On the inside, in yellow and black, we have Dave Mullett, Canterbury. Grid 2 has Stoke reserve Graham Jones coming into the action. Grid 3 has Steve McDermott on the outside of Rob Hollingsworth from Boston. And up to the corner, who will show? It is the rider who's pushing the ball over Dave Mullet. Mullet leads it, coming hard around the outside. In the blue helmet colour is Hollingsworth, and it is a bit tight there. In third place it is Jones and Steve McDermott at the back, and there is a surprise. And here comes Hollingworth around the outside of Mullet, and we have a fair old speedway race on here. McDermott has gone down into the fence. A very nasty wallop there for Steve McDermott. He tangled with Graham Jones. The referee must stop it, and he did give the fence a stump. Well, let's watch it again and look at the back here as the top two go through. It is McDermott and Jones now just disappearing out of our frame momentarily. Down has gone McDermott. Difficult to see if there's any contact, but he kept going and hit the fence with a thump which echoed around the East of England showground. And the referee, Colin Thomas, is saying that McDermott went down on his own. Nobody else to blame, so he must come out of the rerun, and that is a blow to Berwick. And the early word from the medical staff here at the East of England showground, Steve McDermott with a suspected broken left leg, which is really bad news. Here's the restart, and into the first corner is Dave Mullet, who leads it. Second place is Jerm Jones from Stoke, who goes around the outside quite beautifully. Third place is Rob Hollingworth. And this is better news for Stoke, who have had an indifferent start to this first semi. They have played their trump card, their young reserve, and it really has got them up here in Heat 7. Dave Mullet, they're moving up menacingly though onto the back wheel of Jones. There's only, what, a bike length between them as they move into the third lap. And Mullet, who will not give in, will go around the outside where he's getting a bit dry. There seems to be a bit more grip there. And here comes Mullet around the outside, and he just has got the legs, and you won't see a better piece of overtaking than that. The battle really on for the second qualification place. Reminders, Boston are already through. Berwick, who have been in second place throughout, now hit by the injury to Steve McDermott. It really should be between Canterbury and Stoke, and this could be an important and spectacular race win for Dave Mullet for Canterbury. He wins it. Second place Jones, third is Hollingworth. The final heat of the first semi-final, and still an awful lot of questions to be answered. Boston are through on 14 points, but who will go with them into the final? Stoke and Canterbury are linked and tied together on 10 points each. Berwick, unlucky here, have 8, but could still squeeze through on a technical achievement by Jimmy McMillan. Let's look at the lineup as we go across. On the inside, we have from Boston, Guy Wilson, second place first time out. Jimmy McMillan in grid 2 in red from Berwick knows he must win. Anything less won't do. Tom Owen in white for Stoke. On the outside, Alan Moggridge for Canterbury. And Owen is looking for Moggridge. He knows he's the rider. It's Canterbury who could threaten in front. It is McMillan in second place. It is Owen in third place. It is Moggridge. And the real battle here now developing with Owen moving through on the inside of McMillan. Moggridge has been squeezed to the back. Into lap 2, Owen anchoring Stoke surely through into the final, unless Alan Moggridge can really produce something extra special at the back. He is working till he's gone down. That's the end of Canterbury's hopes. He's gone down. If he stays down, he must surely be excluded. And then they're taking their time getting the bike off. The referee has stopped it, maybe a little prematurely. They would have got the bike clear, but it would have been tight. And so the restart of the last heat of the first semi-final. Boston have gone through, and the situation is that Tom Owen from Stoke really just has to stay on for 4 laps for Stoke to go through with him. A second place from Owen would put them through with a higher score than Berwick, providing McMillan wins. Jimmy McMillan in red. But if they finish on a tie, the regulations say that the team with the most heat wins go forward, and that is Stoke. So the restart, Wilson on the inside, next to him McMillan. The outside now is Owen. And, well, if he gets away, so too does Owen. Owen around the outside. Wilson in second place. Rather, McMillan in second place. Wilson in third place. And so Tom Owen making sure and anchoring Stoke to a qualification place. They made hard work of it. The unlucky Bandits lost Steve McDermott with a suspected broken leg. Made all the early running along with Boston. But it looks like they're going to be squeezed out of a place in the final. Have made the final, what, 1, 2, 3 times before. The last time was back in 1980. But they are a much improved outfit this year, with John Dews doing a good job rebuilding, restructuring their side. Tom Owen has been their linchpin. Phil McMillan in second place, Guy Wilson back in third place. But Owen's just got to stay mobile and stay percolating, and Stoke will go through with Boston from this first semi-final. No mistakes at all from Tom Owen, right on the line. Guy Wilson gets up to steal second place from Jimmy McMillan to complete an afternoon of misery for the Bandits from Berwick.
So Stoke scraping through, and that semi-final win by Boston gives the local fans here at the East of England Showground something to cheer in the final. Now the second semi-final with two more local teams, Mildenhall and Milton Keynes, lining up against Hackney and Middlesbrough. Once again, the highlights with Dave Lanning.
Heat number 2 of the second semi-final. The Fen Tigers in front by a point. On the inside here from Milton Keynes, Nigel Diath in white. Next to him, another of the fast emerging Fen Tigers, Carl Blackburn, having a good season at West Row. Grid 3 in yellow, the vastly experienced Jeff Pusey from Middlesbrough. On the outside, Kevin Teager in blue for Hackney. Not a good start. A bit ragged on the inside there. It was Diath who shows. In second place, creeping through on the inside, it is Carl Blackburn. And then Kevin Teager going with him too from Hackney. Real battle. Teager has gone down and hits the fence with a fair old thump on the third turn. Here is Teager. And he looks to be in a fair amount of trouble. Well, look at the first lap of Heat 2 again. And keep an eye on the rider in blue. That's Kevin Teager on the outside. You'll see that Blackburn was left at the start. Now, Teager seems to have the drop. Diath on the inside and white. And, well, he almost lost it there. Master Teager in the blue helmet cutter managed to get the bike back under control. Came roaring up the outside of two of his rivals. But as he made the turn for the third corner again, just dropped it there. And goes into the fence feet first with a hefty clump. And is not at all happy. Oh, that hurt. News is that Kevin Teager, excluded from the restart of Heat 2 of the second semi, has rib injuries. And so we'll look across the lineup with only 3 going. On the inside, it's Nigel Diath, who made the jump first time. Next to him, Carl Blackburn, caught going backwards at the tapes by referee Colin Thomas at the first time of asking. On the outside, the evergreen Jeff Pusey from Middlesbrough with those familiar polka dots on his leather, of course, younger brother of Chris Pusey, England and captain indeed some seasons ago, and a bit of a character. Here we go for Heat 2, the restart. And this time Blackburn has made no mistake from the tapes. He leads it. Pusey coming hard around with the drivers. In third place it is Diath. And Carl Blackburn, who was rather caught out at the tapes in the first start, he gets a flyer this time and is setting sail for home. Tigers are particularly strong at their top end, so they're well suited to this kind of racing with a 4-man team. They have been a remodeled side this year in National League Speedway, and they are somewhat unbalanced at the back end. And the battle developing for second place with Diath getting up now on Pusey, and Diath trying to drive around the outside there and might just catch him. He does. Good piece of overtaking by the Milton Keynes rider. Pusey hasn't finished yet though. A win for Blackburn, second place fightingly from Nigel Diath, and third place Jeff Pusey. So the Tigers forge further in front. The third heat of the second semi-final coming our way. The progressive totals, Mildenhall clearly in the lead on 6 points. In second place, Milton Keynes on 3, Hackney on 2, and Middlesbrough, such a challenging force in these National Force finals over the years, back on 1 point. Heat 3, and we have Rob Henry, who will remember this meeting last year when he went down in flames when unavailingly trying to steer his side home in the last race. Rob Henry on the inside, identifiable like the Tigers are in their distinctive yellow and black leathers with the Tiger sleeves. Next to him in yellow and black, Mike Spink from the other Tigers from Middlesbrough. He had a pointless opening ride. Grid 3 in blue, we have Trevor Banks from Hackney, who is a formidable long track specialist. And on the outside, Keith White from Milton Keynes, their most experienced campaigner, and that is definitely a full start. And it looked like the rider in blue, Trevor Banks, who caused the trouble. Well, let's have a look at it. Let's keep an eye on Trevor Banks in grid 3. It looks like he was the first to try to beat the gun. That's a smashing picture. Oh, yes, he was a long way clear. And Rob Henry reacting, but the first rider to break the tapes, really no question, Trevor Banks. Andy Galvin, the young man coming into the blue helmet for Hackney, replacing Trevor Banks, excluded predictably for tape charging. Useful sort of reserve, this lad. Has been a match winner for the Kestrels more than once this year. Quick look at the revised lineup then for Heat 2. On the inside, Rob Henry, Mildenhall, red. Next to him, yellow and black, Mike Spink, Middlesbrough. Grid 3, reserve for Hackney, Andy Galvin. On the outside, Keith White, another former British Lion. Now really in the twilight of his career at Milton Keynes. He's on the outside in white. Heat number 3. And it is Henry from the inside and from the outside. A fine start by Keith White. Keith White leads it. Second place, it is Henry. Third place, it is Spink and Galvin at the back. Coming to the fore here, looking very comfortable up front. Rob Henry, stretching, tall, lanky fellow, nice lad, one of the most articulate and intelligent riders in National League Speedway. You remember falling off here last year, and he's run on the back wheel now of White, and he doesn't give in. He's going to try the outside run, and might just have the drop into the last two corners of lap 3, and Rob Henry giving it really the gun. This is the last lap, remember, just 347.5 metres around. And White holding out the thrusts of Henry. He's ridden an immaculate line, and Henry will have another go, I'm sure, of that right to the checkered flag. He'll keep the throttle open, but Keith White's going to hold on. He wins it. Henry is second. Third place, it is the rider in yellow, and that's Mike Spink for Middlesbrough, and Galvin at the back for Hackney. Heat 5 coming up, and so effective has been the dominance of the Fen Tigers that if Cole Baldwin here in red wins this one, they are guaranteed a place in the final. Looking across the lineup, on the inside in blue, Trevor Banks from Hackney. Then in yellow and black, Paul Price from Middlesbrough. Baldwin is in red, and on the outside there, Peter Framingham in white coming into the lead. Baldwin going around the outside following him, but it's Framingham, first time in the action, from Milton Keynes, who leads Heat 5, and Baldwin now chasing hard after him. Third place it is Banks, and he's looking a bit vulnerable. Here's Framingham up front as Baldwin takes the outside run and goes by him perfectly cleanly. And the Fen Tigers fans are beginning to celebrate already. This will certainly anchor the Tigers a place in the final. Whilst they've been so unlucky in the past couple of years in that final, they've looked in a totally dominant mood. This is Baldwin. There's a battle developing for the odd points at the back. You can see there Paul Price has moved up around the outside of Trevor Banks. Baldwin fine style. Yes, they're bunching for the odd points. And Price has gone past Framingham now, and Framingham's gone from first to third, and Price is really beginning to weigh up on Walton Showground. Too late to catch Baldwin. He wins at second place. Price. Third is Framingham, and Banks, a bit surprisingly, there at the back.
Well, that heat win for Mildenhall guaranteed them a place in the final. Despite that, they went on to win every remaining heat of that semi-final, and the other qualifier was Milton Keynes. So in the final, we've got no less than 3 East Anglian teams: Milton Keynes, Mildenhall and Boston. They're joined by Stoke, and you can see that final right after this break. And welcome back to the East of England Showground Peterborough, where we're set for the final of the National League 4-team championship. Stoke are joined by no less than 3 East Anglian teams: Boston, Milton Keynes and Mildenhall. And with me now is the Mildenhall captain, Rob Henry, and you must be absolutely delighted with the way you went in that semi-final, I should think.
Very, very happy about it. It was a good all-round team performance, and we're really very confident.
Now, looking at this final, Stoke, Milton Keynes, yourselves, Boston, who do you fear most?
Well, we've had a couple of matches with Milton Keynes just recently, but I feel the way that Stoke have gone today, they are probably going to be our main rivals. But who knows? The final brings out the best in everybody, and it's anybody's race.
And you've been runners-up 3 times. You came agonisingly close last year. What would it mean to actually take this title now?
Well, it means a hell of a lot to myself and to Mildenhall Speedway and to all the supporters that have been following us here for so many years. It'll mean everything.
Rob, very best wishes. Let's go straight into the final action and rejoin Dave Lanning.
Peter Framingham coming into the action for Heat 2, representing Milton Keynes. And after Heat 1, it is Mildenhall in front with 3 points. Stoke in second place on 2. Milton Keynes have 1. Boston still to score. Let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 2. On the inside in white, it is Ray Bells from Mildenhall. Next to him in red, we have Rob Hollingworth. Grid 3 has Peter Framingham, and on the outside, Nigel Crabtree from Stoke. Heat 2. Oh, that was the rider in yellow, Peter Framingham, and he really must go out. Tape charging, and he's got to go. Well, no doubt about the guilty party here. What's the rider in grid 3? And, well, the camera cannot lie. Peter Framingham clearly guilty of tape charging, and under the rules and regulations, he's got to go. There is Steve Payne, and Milton Keynes will be looking to him to anchor them in Heat 2. Looking across the lineup, on the inside, Ray Bells, white, Mildenhall. Then Rob Hollingworth, red for Boston. Grid 3 has Payne on the outside. It is Nigel Crabtree from Stoke, and up to the corner. It is Bells who shows, and going past him. We're trying to go past him as they all tighten up. Here comes Crabtree, and no room for him to go as Hollingworth kept the gate closed on him, and Ray Bells took advantage of that opportunity to go clear. Now Crabtree moves through into second place, and following him through Steve Payne from Milton Keynes. Bells in front for Fen Tigers. Crabtree stretching, leaning down, trying to get after him. In third place, it is Payne. At the back, it is Hollingworth for Boston. The action around the first 2 corners here in Heat 2 as well. Rob Hollingworth and Nigel Crabtree were knocking large lumps off each other. Ray Bells is diminutive. Fen Tiger took his opportunity to go clear. Again, he's opened up a lead of 30-40 lengths, and the Fen Tigers do seem to have an extra gear here at the East of England Showground in this National Fours final. Bells wins it, second place. Crabtree. Payne is third for Milton Keynes. 6 to go, and the scores with Mildenhall still in the lead, unbeaten on 6 points. Then Stoke on 4, Milton Keynes on 2, Boston, and this is rather unexpected, still to open their account. No score after 2. Looking across the line on the inside red, Billy Burton scored 4 points for Boston in the semi, one of their better performances. Grid number 2 has Keith White from Milton Keynes, who's nobody's fool. Grid 3 has Paul Thorpe from Stoke, who indeed puts himself about and likes the wide open spaces. And on the outside, it is Carl Baldwin in white for Fen Tigers. The Tigers running up a record score, of course, in the semi. Haven't been beaten yet in the final. They really look in a mean mood as we start Heat number 3. And it looks like White will hit the corner in front. Keith White leads it. Second place, it is Thorpe. Baldwin going round the outside, and he's gone round 1, and he's gone round 2, and he's chasing hard after Keith White now. Keith White leads it from Milton Keynes. Baldwin hard on his tail. In third place is Paul Thorpe. At the back, it is Billy Burton. Keith White's not moving off that inside line, and now Baldwin will dive bombing down the inside. Just changed his mind. You could almost hear his mind ticking over there. White riding immaculately in the lead. Second place Baldwin here. Really are bunched up here. Third place is Thorpe, and now it is Burton coming back into contention at the back, and there's what, about 10 lengths between all 4. Into the last lap, 347.5 metres around the East of England Showground, and Baldwin is going to be beaten for the first time this afternoon. Keith White has not made a mistake up front, made the start, got clear, has ridden a perfect line. He takes it. Second place is Baldwin, third is Thorpe. That does make a difference to the leaderboard. The Tigers in front on 8 points. Milton Keynes and Stoke both on 5. Boston again have yet to score. As we move into Heat 4, it is Rob Henry from Mildenhall in the pole position, grid 1. He won his opening ride. Next to him in blue, Stoke's Nigel Crabtree. He must be the danger for Henry. Grid 3 has David Blackburn from Milton Keynes, who has shown he's ready to mix it with the best. And on the outside, Guy Wilson from Boston in red. That's the lineup for Heat 4, with Mildenhall 3 points clear of the pack at this stage. And up to the corner, there. It is Crabtree who gets away. Crabtree leads it for Stoke in second place. It is Henry in third place. It is Blackburn. And at the back it is Wilson. Crabtree just got the drop. And he's stretching and going after him. It is Henry. And Rob Henry, we know, is not a quitter. He will not give up. He will chase and push and thrust and try and find a better line and try and find the horsepower. And he's up to within a length of him. Swinging back on the inside, Crabtree, aware of the danger coming down his inside. This is lap 3. Still in third place, Dave Blackburn from Milton Keynes, and Ben Tiger fans on their feet here trying to urge their man on. But Crabtree, it must be said, from Stoke Potters, is riding an intelligent tactical line. Into the last lap, and Henry must produce something very special, and he's having a go. Got a big fighting heart, this lad. Into the last 2 corners again. He will try, which will be his tactic, to try and lock back, but he's not going to get through. Crabtree wins it. Second place Henry, third place Blackburn. Means that Stoke are creeping closer to the Fen Tigers, and they're determined to show these East Anglians are not having things their own way in this final. As we move into heat number 5, on the inside in blue, Paul Thorpe from Stoke. Next to him in yellow and black, Nigel Diaz, Milton Keynes. Grid 3 has Colin Cook in red. On the far outside in the white helmet, Carl Blackburn for Fen Tigers. It is Thorpe who's holding up proceedings. He comes now into line. They'll come under starter's order. The green light will go on. It is on, and away they go this time. And who will show it is Thorpe from the inside. Thorpe leads it. Blackburn has been run very, very wide around the first 2 corners, and he is at the back. And this is going to open it up if it stays this way. Thorpe leads it. In second place, Diaz. In third place, Cook. And now Carl Blackburn must get on song and try and make some ground, and he has been squeezed out. And now we look at the back, and Blackburn has picked off Colin Cook. He's into third place now. He sets his sights on Nigel Diaz in second place. Paul Thorpe is clear. And Blackburn right up on the back wheel of Diaz, and Cook is by no means out of contention. The blue helmet colour has been dropped by Thorpe. And Thorpe now in front, but here comes Blackburn trying the inside drive on Diaz, and he's gone through. Absolutely elbows at the side. Swings through, speaking of course, not literally, just metaphorically there on the side, but he's had to really work hard, Carl Blackburn, to keep the Fen Tigers in there and in front, because it's Thorpe in front, leading heat number 5. He's going to win it. The Stoke fans this time they're on their toes. Second place, good. Second place too, fighting hard from the back, Carl Blackburn. Third was Nigel Diaz, and there is Thorpe. And just out of your picture, Blackburn pumped his handlebars in frustration. At all happy with that first corner. We'll look at it again, because it looked like they were aiming for him. I look at the first 2 corners again and watch Carl Blackburn on the outside. He seemed to get the break okay, but as they got up to the turn, Paul Thorpe on the inside. Oh, there's a knock there for Diaz and Cook is aware that Blackburn's coming at him. And well, did he take him wide, or is it all part of the game? It indeed was Diaz that got in Blackburn's way in yellow and black, so really Fen Tiger couldn't complain there, but he really had to pull out the stoppers after that first 2 corners. Heat 6 of the National Fours final. Mildenhall still in front, but it's getting close and getting interesting. Mildenhall have 12 points, Stoke have 11, Milton Keynes have 7. Boston really, even at this stage, are out of contention. And now the Potters can play their top card as the programme falls. It's going to be Tom Owen in blue, their number 1, and he could change the complexion of this final if he gets his act up together here. Heat 6, let's look at the lineup. On the inside, David Blackburn from Milton Keynes had a point first time out. Grid 2 has Carl Baldwin. So much rests on his shoulders for the Tigers here. He's got to contain Owen. Owen's in grid 3 in blue, first time out in the final. On the outside, the experienced Rob Hollingworth from Boston. He's in red. So much resting on the dash to the first corner. If Owen gets clear, it could be dodgy for the Tigers, and up to the corner, and it is Owen who gets away, and Blackburn's gone with him. Blackburn leads it, coming round the outside. It is Hollingworth, and here comes Tom Owen around the outside. And where is Baldwin? Baldwin's coming through as well, and this is super speedway, because Baldwin is through into third place, and Blackburn is holding out Owen, and Owen swings his attack down the inside. Blackburn leads it for Milton Keynes. Owen is second, Baldwin is third, and Baldwin now closing on the leading 2. the back it is Hollingworth. But this is a little bit of a surprise. David Blackburn from Milton Keynes in front. And Tom Owen now has his work really cut out to contain Cole Baldwin, who's breathing right down his right ear hole. And if they stay this way, it's going to tighten up this final. And they're coming into the last lap, and David Blackburn has ridden for the race of his life, the son of a former team manager at Reading and many years at Coventry, Nick Blackburn, and now a licensee. Be proud of his lad here. Behind the pints at his pub, and Blackburn is going to win it for Milton Keynes. Second place Owen, third is Baldwin, and we suddenly have a final on our hands with the scores all tightening up, and just 2 to go. Let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 7. On the inside in the yellow and black from Milton Keynes, Peter Framingham, excluded for a tape offence first time out. Next to him, Carl Blackburn, who got squeezed out in his first ride, fought back for a second place for Fen Tigers. Grid 3 has Billy Burton in red for Boston. On the outside, Paul Evans from Stoke. Heat number 7. Oh, that was a ragged start. And, well, what's the referee doing? As they all go into the corner, the referee has stopped it. The referee is Colin Thomas. It's going to be interesting to see what he makes of this. Well, who is to blame for the race being stopped? Let's have a look. Who is the first to move here? Oh, it was Blackbird, and left there was the rider in red, Burton, and Master Blackbird lucky to survive in many ways. Heat 7 for the second time of asking. And on the inside, in fact, it's Steve Payne, the Milton Keynes reserve, brought into the action. Next to him, Carl Blackburn white for Mildenhall. Grid 3 has Billy Burton. On the outside, it is Paul Evans from Stoke. As the temperature rises, the tension begins to build. Here we go, Heat 7, and they're away cleanly this time. And it is Blackburn who gets away. Blackburn leads it. They're all bunching around the outside. Here comes Evan at him. And Evans, has he got the legs? And he's run right into the fence there. And Blackburn leads it. Second place, it is Burton. And in third place now, Survivor in yellow, Steve Payne. And that really was ruthless riding by the Fen Tiger. As Evans got around the outside, it seemed he was brushing the fence, and the Stoke rider has been dropped. And that may well be the moment when this National Fours was won and lost. Still Blackburn in front, second place Burton, third place is Steve Payne from Milton Keynes, and Everett a long way back and clearly unhappy with life. And in fact, if they stay this way, by our reckoning, the Tigers cannot be caught with the Stoke rider back in last place. It would put Mildenhall Fen Tigers surely in an uncatchable position. Blackburn wins it, waving to his fans. Second place in red, Burton. Third in yellow and black was Payne. Well, there are some angry Stoke fans who are complaining, and there are some jubilant Mildenhall fans and that speedway and that sports supporters anywhere in the world. For one lot, it's heartening. For the other, it's heartbreak.
Paul Evans, so obviously upset after what appears to be a decisive heat there. What do you see has happened there?
Yeah, well, it was getting really tense, and we needed to beat Mildenhall. And as you see, I mean, I got the run round the outside, and then he stuffed me in the fence. And then at the other end of the track, when I'd gone by him again, he run me straight right out in the wilderness, you know, and just left me with nowhere to go. And the other guys come back underneath me, and well, it could cost us the meeting.
What do you feel should have happened?
Well, he should have been excluded because he did it. It was rerun twice, and he shoved me in the first time, and then he did it again, but this time I hit the fence, which in my mind, you know, that's just unfair.
You feel you had the run on him?
Yeah, I did. I would have beat him, but the guy was, you know, he just put me out the race completely.
Crucial stage. Paul, our sympathy.
Yeah, I know. I hope we can still win.
So coming into the last race, and all Ray Bells for Mildenhall must do really is get up into third place, because it is the Tigers on 16, Stoke on 13, Milton Keynes on 11, Boston on 2. And looking across the lineup for the final heats, we have Bells and Tom Owen for Stoke. And Ray Bells knows that 1 point will be enough to make sure the Fen Tigers have their first ever victory in the National Fours Championship. They've worked hard, they've had some nail-biting moments. It is by no means all over. Funny old game speedway. Fans are really abuzz. The Stoke supporters still complaining bitterly their man was run out in the last ride. And it was a nasty moment, but that is Speedway. It's a tough old game. It is not for mice, it is for men. And the Mildenhall fans will be quick to make that point. You remember last year their lad was squeezed out in equally controversial circumstances. Look at the lineup on the inside. Tom Owen will run him into the corner, that's for sure, if he hits the brake. Next to him in red, Guy Wilson from Boston. Grid 3, Ray Bells, who must compose himself, take his time, just do the necessary here. 1 point only will do it. The outside, Nigel Diaz from Milton Keynes, and he's been a handful as well. Here we go for the final heat, and off they go. And who is it that shows it? Is Bells, and it is Owen, and Ray Bells only needs to sit here now. Tom Owen leads it in second place, Bells in third place, Wilson at the back of his Diaz, and Bells is not going to be content to do it the easy way. He roars through, and that just emphasises that the Tigers do not want to win it luckily, or do not wish to win it controversially. They want to win it gloriously, and Bells is doing just that. Bells in front, Owen is second, Wilson is third, Diaz is at the back, 2 laps to go, 2 laps for glory, and the first ever National 4 title for the Fen Tigers. They must be really sweating in the pits now, hoping that machine doesn't miss a beat, and Bells is stretching them. It's all over bar the shouting. Been second for the last 2 years. The little side from the Carrot Patch in West Row are turning on a 24-carat performance here and going to take this title for the first time. They'll be playing Tiger Rag in the Fen country tonight because the Fen Tigers have made music and won the National Force. Bells wins it, second is Owen, third in red there was Guy Wilson. But really, this story is all about the Fen Tigers. Twice unlucky runners-up. This time they have done it, and they have done it with some style. Ray Bells for the Fen Tigers in the last race, not content to do it the easy way. We'll watch here, he misses the start. It's Tom Owen with all the experience getting away on the inside. Now, all Bells had to do was to sit back and claim second place would have been enough. That is not the way of Bells, that is not the way of Fen Tigers. You see, he gets his wheels back in line and says, move over, Tom, I'm coming through. And Owen, for all his track craft and experience, can do nothing to contain him. Ray Bells emphasising that it's going to be Fen Tigers Day. For the record books, the final scores here at the East of England Showground after another memorable National Force final. The champions on 19 points, Mildenhall Fen Tigers. In second place, the gallant Stoke Potters, 15 points. Milton Keynes in the picture on 11, and Boston, rather disappointingly, in fourth place with 3.
So at long last, the National League 4-team championship firmly in the hands of Mildenhall. They'll be celebrating down at West Row, and it's a perfect way for us at Anglia to end our Speedway coverage for the season. Hope you've enjoyed it from Peterborough, where the celebrations are only just beginning. Goodbye from us all.